The most frustrating thing I've come across about being a high performer is the feeling that you are moving in circles. You work hard, you learn, you improve, you hit the targets, you read the books, you tell yourself, I've dealt with this already. And then suddenly there it is again. The same kind of conflict, the same kind of pressure, the same burnout, the same feelings of being successful on the outside, but strangely empty on the inside. Many leaders think that when an old pattern comes back, it means they have failed. They think, I'm back at the beginning. Why? But what if that is not true? What if the same lesson is coming back because you are ready to meet it at a deeper level or a higher level? Today, we're going to look at why life keeps repeating the same lessons and how to meet those lessons with curiosity instead of shame. Hi, I'm Pietro Pazzi. I'm a leadership depth coach with 3 years of leadership experience across the globe. I work with senior leaders who want to grow from the inside out, not just perform better on the outside. In this video, I want to show you a different way to understand repeating patterns. Because leadership growth is not always a straight line. It is often more like a spiral. You may come back to the same lesson, but you are not the same person each time. Stay with me to the end because I will give you a simple practice called evidence audit. You can use it the next time an old pattern shows up. Most of us want progress to look simple. I want to start at point A, move to point B, solve the problem and never see it again. But the real growth rarely is that neat. Life is more like a spiral staircase. Imagine walking up a spiral staircase in a tall building. At some points, you may look down and see the same view you saw before. But this time you're at a higher level. It looks slightly different. This is often how leadership growth works. You meet the same issue again, but from a new level of awareness. Maybe last year the lesson was about speaking up. This year the lesson is about speaking up with calmness. Maybe before the lesson was about setting boundaries. Now the lesson is about setting boundaries without guilt. So when a pattern repeats, it does not always mean you have failed. Sometimes it means life is asking, can you meet this now with more honesty, more courage, and more wisdom? I believe patterns are not random. They usually began as ways to protect you. Your brain is built to save energy. When you're under pressure, it often goes back to old habits. That can be useful, but it can also keep you stuck. For example, maybe early in your career, being very controlling helped you succeed. You checked every detail. You had the answers. You made sure nothing went wrong. That may have helped you get promoted. But later, when you are leading a bigger team, that same habit may hurt you. Your team may stop taking ownership. People may wait for your approval. You become the bottleneck. So the old strength becomes a new limit. That is why the lessons repeat. Not because you are broken, but because the old way of survival is no longer the right way to lead. The question is not only, how do I stop this behavior? The deeper question is really, what new ability is trying to grow within me? Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's patience, listening. Maybe it's the courage to let others lead. There are seasons in life when growth does not look like success. It looks like slowing down. It looks like losing something. It looks like stepping away from the old way. It may even look like failure. I remember when my first business went down. It was a slow, painful realization that doing everything right did not always create the results I wanted. At first, it felt like a step backwards. I had to move away from pure hustle and start asking deeper questions. Who am I when the success story stops working? What really matters to me? What is life asking me to learn right now? From the outside, that may look like I had lost momentum, but inside something important was happening. I was going deeper. Sometimes what feels like going backwards is actually preparation. It's like pulling back the bow before the arrow flies forward. So if you are in the season that feels like regression, ask yourself, am I failing or am I deepening? That one question can change how you see the whole season. When the same lesson comes back, most people judge themselves. They say, why am I still like this? Or I should be over this by now. But shame does not help you learn at all. It usually makes the pattern stronger. Instead, become like a detective. A detective does not shout at the evidence. A detective studies it. So next time the pattern appears, pause and notice. What happened just before it showed up? Who was involved? What did you feel in your body? What were you trying to protect? And that last question, I think, is the key. What am I protecting by staying in this pattern? Because many repeated patterns give us a false sense of safety. Being controlling may protect you from feeling uncertain. Being silent may protect you from conflict. Being overly busy may protect you from feeling empty. Always being the strong one may protect you from needing help. The pattern may be costly, but it may also feel familiar, and familiar can feel safe, even when it's not healthy. The detective looks for the gap between who you have been and who life is now asking you to become. Short interruption, I have a gift for you. I have several resources that I've made available to you that have worked for me, have worked for my clients, and they are available for you on my website under the resources section. There you'll find 2 planners, significant planners, 32-page odd planners on the leadership journey, and the other is manifestation planner. I have 3 assessments. One is about self-awareness, where you act in terms of self-awareness, the 6 leadership capabilities and competencies, or anchors as I call them, and then the wheel of life. Then there is a whole bunch of guided visualizations that I've done, audio recordings that you can download, and a couple of guides. Introduce you to several tools like working at the inner level, your operating system. And then I have infographics page, and there I continue to load the infographics that prove to be popular in the other platforms where I load them, loaded with insights and information, that things I've learned over the years. All available for you on my website. Go get them. Back to the video. So let's get to that evidence audit. A simple practice you can try now. Take a page and answer these 4 questions. Firstly, identify the repeat. What is one frustration that has shown up again and again in my life or in my leadership? Maybe it's burnout. Maybe it's conflict. Maybe it's taking on too much. Maybe it is avoiding hard conversations. Second, name the old adaptation. How did this behavior help me in the past? For example, being the smartest person in the room helped me get promoted. Third, spot the cost. What is this costing me now? For example, my team does not take initiative because I always jump in with the answer. Fourth, find the new quality. What quality is trying to grow in me now? Maybe it's humility, trust, courage, silence. Maybe it is the ability to let others struggle and learn. The next time the old pattern appears, do not attack it. Pause and say, you back. What are we learning this time? That simple shift turns repetition into information. The goal of leadership is not to look polished. It is to become more whole, less split, less defended, more honest, more able to use all of who you are in service of yourself and of the work. When you stop seeing repetition as failure, you stop being trapped by your past. You begin to see that life is not trying to punish you. It may be trying to mature you. The same lesson may return because a deeper part of you is ready to grow. You're not a problem to be solved. You are a person at a threshold, and sometimes the doorway into that next version of you looks exactly like the pattern you thought you had already solved. If you're a senior leader and you feel like you keep hitting the same wall, maybe the answer is not to push harder. Maybe the invitation is to go deeper. If this spoke to something in you, I'd love you to subscribe, because on this channel we'll explore leadership, identity, inner work, transition, and what it means to live and lead with more depth. If you are a leader who has achieved a lot already, but senses something deeper is now asking for attention, I invite you to explore my leadership depth coaching at pietropazzi.com. You can also book a complimentary 30-minute exploratory chat with me. You'll find both links on the website, well, at least the one link on the website, and both links in the description. Thank you for watching. Let's stop looking for the perfect straight line and start finding the wisdom in the spiral.